ready?
Yeah.
I'll have to zoom in on me.
Well, that's what you'd see on a normal one.
Right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm Doug. This is going to be my first video on DougLife YouTube channel. And I'm going to start over. What's up, everybody? I'm Doug. This is DougLife YouTube channel. This will be my first video on the channel. And first video, I'm going to be putting together a big block Chevy. And then I'm going to be putting it in the car. I got some other upgrades I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be taking it out racing and showing you what it's all about. I'm out here all the time. I figured I might as well start filming. And just so I can look back on it in a few years and enjoy it. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to DougLife. I'm Doug.
No, just make it like your journey. Tell them about you're going to go all the way from here to the racetrack. And we're just now getting started, and we'll show you how to put it all together again.
Right. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm Doug. This is DougLife. This is going to be my first video on the channel. I'm going to... Well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I just started, so... But, anyway. Alright, now that the intro's over, we can go ahead and get started. I'm going to be installing the crankshaft here. This will be my final assembly. I've already pre-assembled everything. I got the bearing clearances correct on the rods and the main caps. I got the rings already filed down on the pistons. The pistons are already on the rods. So I've already got past that point, and I'll kind of explain to you guys what I did when I get to that point, is putting everything together. So we're going to go ahead and start by putting the main bearings into the engine block here. And I've already got them laid out on the table here. Got number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically you just go down the line here. And I've already got them all cleaned off, but I will wipe them down again. The best rags that I found to use are these like rags that you use to clean your glasses. They just kind of leave the less lint, you know, to clean everything down. And I've already cleaned everything down here, so you don't have to worry about that. Alright, and I have cleaned everything down here already. I've blown everything out with air. I have used other rags. I use a engine parts cleaner and a spray bottle to get everything real wet and on my rag as I cleaned it down. Then I come through with air hose and make sure I get everywhere. And then my final wipe down, I'll use one of these rags, and it gets all the lint off and whatever could be left there. The microfibers get cut on the edges and stuff, and just about every towel I found has done some kind of lint on here, and these are the best. So there you go here. And when I put the main caps in here, I'll spray it down with some brake cleaner, wipe her down. Try not to touch the actual surface there. And I'll just go down the line number 1 to number 5. You'll take your little nipple there and you'll put it in there. And just make sure it has a nice clean fit in there. And then you just move on to the next one. Alright, now that I got those 4 in, I already got my back cap on here from the last time I didn't take it out, so I just make sure it's nice and clean. And then when I put my crankshaft in, I like to use a little bit of just a tiny bit of assembly lube and a little bit of oil is what I like. So I usually put just a tiny bit on my finger here and come around with the assembly lube. And if you're not going to be starting it for a long time, probably more assembly lube, but I'll be starting it here and priming it, so I'm not real worried about that. Then I usually put, right now I have 30 weight break-in oil, brad pen, into this little squirt can. You can get them anywhere pretty much. I'll take it, squirt some in, take my finger. I like to make sure it's on both sides of the edge of this bearing here. All right, now that you got those all lubed up, you're ready to drop your crankshaft in. I have my crankshaft sitting over here on the table. I already have it all cleaned up, ready to go. I've got all the holes blown out and everything, so it is ready to go. I will put a little bit of oil on them right now before I stick it in there. This crankshaft is a 4 3/4 stroke crankshaft, and it has 6.7 connecting rods, and it'll go into that block there, which is a dart block, Big M. It's a 10-2 deck with a 4.625 bore space now, after getting back from the machine shop. All right, now that I got that all oiled up, I'm gonna get ready to drop it into the motor here. One thing you gotta watch when you drop it in here, you gotta make sure that you're dropping it straight down on, and you don't wanna be hitting it or sideways or not be in back here correctly and stuff, so just keep an eye out. If you got somebody to help you when you're doing it, that helps. If you're by yourself, just take your time. All right. All right, I'm gonna come in from that side, so. All right, like I said, you want to make sure to look in the center, make sure you're in that one, or good on the line, and then look in the back one to make sure at the end. Just drop it straight in there and should spin nice and easy. Looks like we are here, so. All right, now that we got the crankshaft installed, we're gonna go ahead and move on to putting on our main caps. And these bearings, they're marked upper and lower on the back of them here. These are going to be your lower, and the engine block side is going to be your upper. Usually they'll have the oil well in them, that way the oil can stay in there a little longer when the motor's upright side. So, you know, again, like, you're going to make sure that it's in there, slide it in there, flush on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and I just spray a little bit of brake cleaner on the rag, clean it off. I like to do a little bit of assembly lube on this side and a little bit of oil. Then on these caps, they're usually marked. You either have an arrow facing forward, or they have writing on them. But you're just going to make sure that your little nipple here is going to be lined up with this one. So this one, it says 2022 with a 1, so you know that's number 1. You're going to sit it on. Make sure it goes right in there straight. I like to take 2 of the bolts here and I'll stick them in there on the first ones. Make sure they line up correctly. And then you come over here. I like to use a rubber mallet, and I will hit it just till it's flush. Then I will take the bolts back out because you have to put some assembly lube on them. I use the ARP assembly lube here. It's got a little tube. They have it with a brush. It'd probably be a little easier. But you're going to want to put on all the bolts, on all the threads to help you get the proper torque specs. You don't want to put it around the washer, all that good stuff. Help get a good seal. Lube everything up. It's basically just an anti-seize. Stuff is super messy. Alright, I've already went ahead and got all the main caps on and all hand tightened down with the bolts. And they all have the ARP assembly loop fastener here on all of them. And if this is your first time putting the crankshaft in and you need to check the bearing clearances and you do not have a dial bore gauge or a micrometer to check everything like the machine shop would, probably going to want to use one of these plastic gauges. The way you use that is it comes with a little piece of string, a little piece of plastic inside of it. You're going to want to cut that off, and then you're going to want to come and you're going to want to sit it across your bearing just like this with it cut off, or I'm sorry, across your journal there. Then you're going to want to take your cap and you're going to want to sit it on there, and you're going to want to torque it down to torque specs, and then you're going to want to take it all back apart, and then you're going to want to check, and this piece is going to be smushed down. You're going to want to take your gauge here, which right here is inches. So you're going to want to measure how that is. Each one of these is 100 thousandths, 200 thousandths, or 300 thousandths. So you're going to want to take that and measure what it is, and that'll tell you what your bearing clearance is. Alright, with this motor we had to use a X part number bearing, which is 1 thousandths smaller. We have our bearing clearances set at 3 thousandths on here, so I feel like that's going to be perfect. Now we're going to want to put our main cap on here. We're going to want to oil it up, which I've already done that. And you're going to want to make sure you get the edges, like I said there before, because the crankshaft will be riding on that. And you're going to want to come over and you're going to want to set it on there just like the other ones there. It's pretty hard to mess this one up. And you're also going to want to take your hammer. I want to tap it down into place, which it should tap pretty easily. If not, it could be off or not quite right in there. Looks like we got it down. Make sure everything's spinning right. I'm going to put these bolts in, and then we're going to want to torque these down to about 10 foot-pounds, and we're going to want to try to set the end play here on the back bearing. Alright, we got the cap on, we've got them all torqued down to about 10 foot-pounds, and you're going to want to set the end play here, the bearing and your crankshaft. You're going to want to, which I have my bolt for the harmonic balancer with some washers in here already, but you're going to want to take it, put something on there, and you're going to want to give it a good smack to hit it back, and then you're going to come to the back, and you're going to want to hit it forward, which I've already done this, but I'll do it one time here just to give it a good smack, and then you're going to come back here with something else, and you're going to want to smack it back forward. Alright, now that we got that set, we're going to want to come in with our, what the fuck is this called?
Filler gauge.
Filler gauge, gosh. Alright, start back over, go back over. You don't have to pause it, just go back over there. Alright, now that I got my thrust bearing end plate clearance set, I'm going to come back through, I'm going to check it with my filler gauge. I'm going to put mine at 7 thousandths. They say you put it between 5 and 10 thousandths depending on your application, excuse me. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your filler gauge and you're going to want to stick it between the bearing and the crank right there. And you're going to make sure it goes in there smooth and you got the right clearance there. So it looks like we're going pretty smooth all the way around here. You can see it's going in all the way, bottom, top, boom, perfect. Alright, now that that's done, we can take our torque wrench, and you want to torque these down in sequences. So I already have mine about 10 foot-pounds. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to, hang on a second. Alright, my fault. Alright, I got the torque wrench set to 50 foot-pounds. And I'm going to start with the center bolts. And I'm going to start with the number 3 cap. Some people like to start with the back cap and go to the front and then to the center. But I like to start with the center, go to the back, to the front, to the back, and to this one. And like I said, I'll start with the center bolts and I'll work my way around to the edge. So I got it at 50. Oop, rolling. And then after we do these 50, I'm going to go to 75 foot-pounds, and then I'm going to go to 100 foot-pounds for the final torque. All right, that's good. All right, we got all the main caps torqued down to 100 foot-pounds. And after you do that, you're going to want to turn your crank and make sure it's spinning freely. If it's not spinning freely, you got a problem somewhere. You want to go all the way around, make sure it's turning. No resistance, because if there is resistance, probably something wrong. You're going to want to take it, unloosen everything, maybe take it back apart, start over, make sure it's all correct. This one is correct. It's spinning just the way it should be. So I think with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. And in the next video, we're going to be putting these big pistons in there. These big old school lunch freaking soup cans. Be throwing them things in there, showing you what we had to do to get these Cali's ultra I-beam rods to fit into this block. It was a lot different than the rods I had in before. I had Oliver rods and they fit, and these ones didn't. So, but tune into the next video if you're still here watching. I appreciate it. This video might not have been the best, but we'll get better, and we'll see you next time.
All right.